Did you know that simple changes in revisions of a standard can drastically impact the catalog performance data of those products? Hey everybody, it's Jenny from Norman S. Wright. We often talk in meetings in the office about what standards are changing, what's being updated, and specifically about how those changes affect the performance of the product when revisions are made. So that's what I want to talk about this week. I want to talk about standards and certifications and revisions and why they're important. So let's get started. Most products in our industry have to comply with certain standards. For example, UL is one that everyone recognizes. Almost all HVAC products, at least the ones with electrical components, need UL certification. UL standards usually involve safety aspects of products, and whenever the UL standard is updated, if recertification is needed, manufacturers know that they need to retest and recertify to stay compliant and listed. But some standards, like performance standards, are less well known and may not require certification or recertification between versions. Let me make a little bit of room here. Performance standards can require the manufacturer to test to a certain standard, such as ASTM E477 for silencers, or to certify performance data to a standard like AHRI 885 for VAV boxes. And every product has its own performance standard or even multiple standards for different aspects of its performance, so it can get confusing. Let's move all of this over now. And then you have to consider the version of the standards. A lot of the time you'll just see notes in the performance data written as NC calculated in accordance to AHRI 885 for VAV boxes, for example, or tested in accordance to ASTM E477 for silencers. But it's important to know which version of the standard is used. The version is usually shown as a year at the end of the standard number. So like AHRI 885-2008 or ASTM E477-20. The reason this is important is there can be large differences between versions. Let's scoot this up to look at a couple examples. For instance, years ago when I was VAV product manager, AHRI 885, the standard for calculating NC and catalog VAV sound performance data, changed the discharge sound attenuation number. Now remember, this is years ago. Let me put a note here. But if you are looking at sound data cataloged to the previous version, it would have a lower NC number than compared to the new version. Now remember, nothing actually physically changed in the unit or the sound of the unit. The calculation just got more accurate to reflect what you would actually hear in a space. Let's slide this over and look at another example. We see this for silencers and ASTM E477, which is the test method for silencers. The current version is ASTM E477-20, and previous versions include E477-13 and E477-06. The difference in insertion loss, which I'll go into more in a future video, but it's basically the reduction of sound when a silencer is put into a system. The difference in this insertion loss between the two versions can be up to 15 decibels. This is often because research is done between revisions that address inaccuracies or concerns in the older versions. So basically, test or run, something is found to be overstated or understated, and it's corrected in the new version. But this is important if you're looking at sound data for silencer and the performance note just says ASTM E477, you should find out first what version it is. It's especially important if you're comparing data from two different manufacturers, because if one manufacturer is using the current version of ASTM 477-20 and another one is using an older version, you're really comparing apples to oranges. So let's pull all this back on screen. Now I just use these two standards in my examples today, but this goes for all standards in the industry. So that's the importance of knowing the version of the standard when you see it referenced in product data. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.